Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. This is going to be one of these videos that just looks back at my time in MCOC, my career in MCOC, whatever you want to call it, because the fact is that it's like a job that I've been doing now for 5 years. Yeah, it's completely crazy to think that I've been playing Marvel Contest of Champions for 5 years, but it's not the game that I've played the most, and this isn't going to be one of these videos that kind of goes, oh, but the twist is now we're going to talk about this game. No, just kind of mention, I've been playing World of Tanks nearly, I think it's coming up to 9 years I've been playing that game. I think I started my account back in 2011, maybe 2012, and I've been playing that for a long ass time. So Marvel Contest of Champions is probably my second, third, or maybe fourth game that I've been playing the longest. But it's the most kind of easy to pick up and put down, especially if you're not doing this in more of a competitive nature or you're trying to keep up with the curve. Over the years, the game has extensively changed, especially when you consider, like, back in the day, we were spending like £100 just to try and get some kind of remotely acceptable 4-star shards or even 4-star champions. So it's kind of crazy with the way that the game is it's gone, especially from those very early days in Jan 2015 when I started playing. And like content wise, like back a while ago, you know, we were just getting like things like Act 5 or kind of the rumblings of Act 5, with Act 4 still being something that needed to be completed. And then Act 5 was like, you know, coming in. It just fit in my mind. I'm like, Act 5 was pretty new, wasn't it? But it's not. It's been years in the making, with Act 6 obviously being added in 2019. So, you know, the game has come a long way. With loads of people playing, I can imagine there was a lot more people playing the game back when I first started off, especially considering as well, I didn't start YouTubing it until about August or July, August time 2015. That's when I started uploading stuff, and I was even like chuffed to get about like 50 views on a video. That's crazy. And now this is part of like my full-time job, is doing this game on a daily basis. And sometimes the game does me back with kind of terrible luck with crystal openings, but it's all part of it. It's just part and parcel of what goes on with kind of playing the game. Sometimes you open up crystals, you get good things. Sometimes you open up, you get bad things. It's been fun to explore the methods and things. And yeah, just like covering this on a daily basis, something to bear in mind is that if I kind of said, okay, so like some of my videos take between 4 to 8 hours to make a piece, depending on the extent of editing that's required, research required, etc, etc. Marvel Contest of Champions news takes anything in the region of 4 to 5 hours to make round total, including thumbnails, editing the actual video itself, cutting it in a certain way that's acceptable, and as well recording it, and not to mention researching it, because I do make sure, obviously I do lots of kind of like research on things. Is a lot of times you like to hope that you kind of flick on the forum and go, oh yes, here's a story that's important to cover, and then you have to look to make sure whether or not it's actually a legitimate one. And you know, but that comes part and parcel with any job. You go in, you do your time, and then you hope that you've done a good job. That's the main thing. It's basically the same thing to a degree, just different types of places of work, if you get my meaning. And content time allocation is something very important, and leads me into this section here to talk about the fact is progress wise. Do I feel that I'm making as much progress? It's actually a question that was put to me in a Discord. Shout out to Carnage for that. And the point remains that you have to take time for stuff in your life that's important. If I spent too much time grinding it in game, I wouldn't be looking to still cultivate and kind of just have a nice natural relationship with M without having to go, I need to spend time with you because it's allocated in the time slot. It's like, no, that's not how life is. You should try and make time. I'm actually making time tomorrow to try and see my friends, which I don't get a lot of time. I've known these people for over 20 years. And I don't get to spend as much time with them. My own family, I don't get to spend so much time with them. And it's like, it's difficult. You have to kind of try and balance several things, from remaining competitive in game, getting all the content done, satisfying the viewers that watch you, and at the same time do a lot of background stuff, your accounts and other things. It's kind of like, I'm not going to moan and say it's an unfortunate thing. It's just a thing, and I'm dealing with it. But at the same time, I'm like, I would have liked to have got a lot done. But then a lot of the times I think to myself, look, we all need a life. I love the game, but also I love my life as well. So in a nutshell, I don't really sweat the small stuff. A lot of the kind of permanent content that I haven't done, I'll get round to whenever I feel like I can get round to it. Whether or not it's a case of like I grind out a load of units, I'm gonna grind for it for free, obviously to make allowance for mistakes and stuff that happens, or it's a case that yeah, I'll just do it whenever I fancy doing it. I think that's the thing as well. Like I just want to enjoy this game on its own kind of, on my own kind of terms, on my own kind of time frame. So that's a lot of the times that when I've been doing guides for stuff, like it's taken a while because I want to focus on other things creatively and produce videos in a way that I'd like to, and enjoy the game at my own leisure. Which I think I know a lot of people do actually like that, rather than those that maybe want to smash for it quickly or other reasons. Even though there's been great things about Marvel Contest of Champions over my last 5 years of playing the game, there's also been some like stuff that I haven't been a massive fan on. I still don't think the game is very much compatible against like old devices, and I understand that games have to evolve, tech that goes into it, and as well like the build quality. But the older the device that you have, the kind of poor nature that the kind of game is as an experience for you. Also, to kind of point out, like, alliances at the time, very early on, were being put in about 2015. It was actually one of my first ever guides, funny enough, how to join an alliance. And, yeah, just from there, like things like Alliance Wars, it's just been a case that Kabam have had to fix a lot of stuff that wasn't good enough planning to begin with. But, maybe that's another story for another day. And it's like, it's all well and good thinking in hindsight. And obviously, I do welcome the fact of always kind of focusing forward and moving on. Especially from stuff like mistakes. If you've made a mistake, it's important to move on from it. Like, the fact that if we brought out bases and started memeing on them. Obviously, Kabam didn't admit it. Well, they did kind of admit it, that they were wrong. Or they didn't really know what they were doing with bases, to be completely frank. And obviously, we memed on that. Alliance Wars, for me as well, has kind of like reached a point where it's just a bit, again, just boring, stale. And yeah, you can put stuff like, you can put new those tactical defense things in and whatnot, but it's just the same thing. It's like the same thing applied to then Alliance Quest in order to kind of like spice that up a bit. And yeah, that's cool. There are stuff with honor points and you're able to kind of like accumulate and get some extra stuff from it. But again, it's just like, we need something new. And a lot of the times, I've even seen stuff like the Squirrel kind of stuff with the Squirrel store. It is the Intel store meets something else. And I can't remember if it was like a Valor solo event or something, but it's just rehashes. It's like they're all the same. Like in like the space of 12 months, some kind of like ideas for events are just like rehash and redone. And yeah, there are some like decent stuff like variants. When Kabam added in variants, that, I tell you what, stroke of genius. Variant 1, rubbish, absolutely rubbish, terrible. But when learning from that and like doing variant 2, and variant 2, variant 3, and variant 4, those 3 variants that they've added in after that, a stroke of genius. Like really decent stuff, really enjoyable from people that grant for the community, allows you to use very unusual and obscure champions, and at the same time it is kind of like beatable with a bit of skill, a bit of strategy, and other stuff like that, which I think is great. But then there's other content that's just like built in a certain way. I'm worried about this Abyss of Legends stuff when that's put in as well. But as I said, I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. There are some kind of positive things, but also some negative things. Some stuff as well that they need to work on is solo events, and something I'll probably do a full video on at a later date. The sigil stuff and the Black ISO market, I do feel that could be expanded on a lot more. It seems to be like there's ideas at Kabam, but they're not kind of getting out there, and I kind of worry again, like back to like when I was at a business and they didn't take on ideas and roll with it, and other games are doing exactly what they're doing, but like, Kabam could have been doing these years ago, but other games are kind of like setting a standard. And again, not going to bring up other games, which I am now, is like Twitch with Prime Loot. And how that's expanded to the point that even like mobile games are getting involved with that. And mobile games in other cases are having things like passes. Again, not to like say, but Raid Shadow Legends has got like a raid pass. And like they obviously do like a big push for the monetized side of things. But that's the thing, they want their game to succeed. They're passionate about their game, and as well at the same time, there's a lot of things built with that game. In any case, I'm not going to talk all the time about other games and say, oh, what they're doing. But it's the fact is like it's all about learning from things, learning what the competition are doing. It's just a simple like SWOT analysis. And yes, it's not Marvel, but the thing is, there's been lots of other Marvel games that have sprung up, and it's a case of going like, well, what is that Marvel game doing? Well, what's that one doing? And trying to put something out there. I think you guys know what I mean by that. Just kind of looking at competition and kind of going like, what could we be doing that they're doing? It's a case that you have to understand what the competition is doing and maybe try to shove something there that's different as well as kind of like replicating the same. But the fact is, Kabam have done some good stuff as well. I keep saying about this Glory Store. Glory Store was amazing to add. Lots of others need revitalizing. I must admit, like with the loyalty store, that should be revitalized, especially considering that we haven't had a 6-star version of Unstoppable Colossus, which would be nice for us to work towards. And yeah, maybe it's not right for the economy to put it in now, or the meta, but you know, it would be nice to see something more in the future. With health pools increasing, we need to see better health potions being put in as well. And there's so many other things that I could name that they need. Put it in the comment section. What other things the Kabam need to put in, which they haven't put in as well. Either way, I think the main thing to kind of point out from my 5 years is that I kind of reduced down spending because of the way that things are devalued. And again, to reiterate that for buying like 100 units at £99, you were getting a lot more for your value. Yeah, there has been changes in the past that there used to be like a £10 reduction in the extent of like how much stuff cost, especially when you buy the more expensive stuff. And yeah, well, like progression, I could have made a lot more gains. It's only been, I think, this Christmas when I revamped my roster, and I'm still doing the last parts of it now. And I'm happy. I'm happy where my roster is now. It's kind of cultivated for different things. It's got a kit there, a full kit of different stuff. Persistent base champion that's incredibly strong with Cat Marvel movie. Doctor Doom is a complete nullifying god. And we've got like still the usual ones. Stark Spidey's always there. He's always kind of like, you know, he's always got my back. Then we've got like Namor. We've got Domino. Iceman. I'm going to be putting up Cap America to rank 5, Corvus, and a few others as well. But I'm just waiting for about a couple more crystal openings just to make that final decision on where I'm taking my roster. Because you just don't know what could be around the corner and what I can pick up. But either way, that has been my 5-year kind of like video, just kind of talking about the stuff that I've been up to, the way that the channel's gone as well. It's been a very weird kind of like time. It's a case that, you know, massive shout out to people, other YouTubers that have kind of like mentioned me and helped that grow. Obviously, taking on sponsorship deals has been a cool thing as well. Not just about doing MCOC. I started off doing World of Tanks as my main kind of form of kind of like doing content on this channel, so it's obviously kind of weird to be kind of like recognized for Marvel Contest of Champions, but at the same time it's an amazing feeling because this comes from community support. So massive shouts to my subscribers, the MCC community, and yeah, Marvel Contest Champions Kabam are going to be adapting into Marvel Realm of Champions, so I don't know what's going to happen with that, and this channel will probably follow that as well. And maybe there's going to be 5 more years of me covering this game. We'll see how the next few years with MCC turns out. And maybe we'll get new players. There's probably, I think when I last checked, there was about 900 new players a day picking up the game. And that could change. But we'll have to see. There's a loyal fan base behind this, so we'll keep on rocking. Maybe we'll be here in 5 more years, and I'll be kind of taking this video and kind of going, oh, this is where I was five years ago. Who knows? But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to talk about anything, put it in the comment section down below. I should have enough time to be reading and responding to stuff, so it'd be interesting to kind of like have your takes. How long have you been playing the game? And as well, like any thoughts on what the stuff I've discussed. If you want to ask any kind of like questions about YouTube and other things, maybe that should be like a proper Q&A type live stream or video at a later date. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Maybe in 5 years more time. Bye-bye for now.